Welcome back to our digital training organized by the Cybersafe Foundation, and we are still on a data analysis class where we are currently training on SQL. In our last class, we talked about writing SQL statements. We mentioned the 5 types of SQL languages, and then we mentioned the languages to be the data definition language, the data control language, the data query language, the data manipulative language, and the transaction control language as the 5 languages of different types, the 5 different types of language that makes up you can use in writing SPL statements. So for this class, we shall be looking at SQL syntax principles. So syntax, we know, is the structure of statements in a computer language, the structure of statement, the arrangement of your statement in a computer language is referred to as syntax. So we shall be looking at structure, query language, syntax principles. So what is SPL syntax? SPL syntax refers to SQL statement that help us execute commands in SQL language. Now we use this syntax to build statements ranging from simple statements to complex blocks of statements. So all SQL statements must follow SQL syntax principle and therefore must contain at least select, and then that is a column name from the table name. So you must have at least select and from in every based on SQL syntax principle, you must have this in every statement. So example, you have select surname from staff table. So that means you have a list of staff table with that is made up of possible different data, and one of them includes surname of the staff. So this is the example given here. So we shall be looking at some of the syntax principles. It's more or less like the computer grammatical structure, just like we have grammatical structure in every language. It's like English language has its grammatical structure. So what we are looking at is more or less the grammatical structure of the computer language SPL that we are currently training on. So some of them includes the following that we are going to be talking about. First, here we have that commands are not sensitive. Commands are not sensitive means you can type it either in capital letters or in small letters. Like for instance, select is a command. So that select is not sensitive. You can type it all in cap blocks or all in small letters. So like I was saying, commands are not case sensitive. Now, column names are case sensitive. Column name means the table from which you're getting that makes up your database, for instance, are made up of columns, and each column has a name. So those column names are case sensitive. So if, for instance, a particular column name begins with all capital letters, when you're giving instruction to query that the data within that column, and you are making reference to that column, you must put the the name of the column all in capital letters. Now, if they are all in small letters, you must do so. So they are case sensitive. Remember, command names are not case sensitive. Column names are case sensitive. Now, pay attention to indentation. We shall going to be talking about indentation later. Dates in SPL are arranged in year, month, day, hour, minute, seconds. You know, so it's arranged in a descending order. Take note of that. So, for instance, this signifies 2021 is the year, the month is 02 February, the day is 03, that is the 3rd day of the month. So this is like the 3rd of 2021. So let's say as mid was time attached to this, the time will now follow the normal hour, minute, second. So strings should be quoted in inverted comma. Talking more about strings as we progress, but strings are quoted in inverted comma. So for instance, if you have actor, it's not in inverted comma, it's not a string. But if it's a string character, that means it will be in an inverted comma like what you have here, and they are not the same. So for instance, having actor on the scroll is not the same as having this actor in an within an inverted comma like what we have here. So note that these are also case sensitive. These are case sensitive. So retrieving data with the select statement. Remember, we are still talking about syntax principles. So select statements at the beginning of every SPL query. Remember, SPL query, we are talking about, when we talk about SPL, structured query language, we are querying data. We want to get more information. We want to get more, a better clarification or picture, or we want a particular piece of information from a huge pile up of data within the database. So you are querying, you're asking questions, using the computer language and expecting the computer and expecting a response in return. So each of these query or question must that comes in the form of a statement must begin with the select command. So the select statement at the beginning of every SQL query. So think of this hypothetical scenario. Your mom asks you to pick the pinball from the fridge. So your mom is basically asking you to select the pinball. That means there are several colors, different types of balls, and probably different colors of balls in the fridge. So she's practically asking you to select from amongst the diverse types of balls you have in the fridge, the pinball. So it's more or less like giving the command. So take note, the select statement at the beginning of every SQL query. So now we are going to be looking at an example of a query at this point. We did some work in our previous class. So I'll go to my VG admin. It's already open. So since we are working with our DVD rental, go to the DVD rental. I want to query DVD rental. So this is my query tool. So remember, we say the select statement is the beginning of every query. So remember, they say it's also not case sensitive. So select. This is all capital letter. So the command statement are not case sensitive. But remember, they said your column names are sensitive, are case sensitive, and I want to select, let's say, from the table here. These are the table. So this is the actor table. So I want, and you notice, you see that the actor table is written in small letters. So I have to write this in case sensitive. So I have to write it exactly the way it is here. So I have to take this to small letter. So remember, you have to run your query to get your result. So that's that. You can see select star. So even if I change this to small letters, it will still give me the same result. So it's not case sensitive. But if I change the actor to all caps, it will give me an error message because I would have missed out on the syntax principles of this structured query language. So let's go back to our lesson. So that's an example. So we looked at it, select from actors. So select from and where are always present in every SPL query. They are always, because when you say select, you must mention the designation where you're selecting from. You cannot just select from nothing. You understand? So you have to give specific instruction, the location from which you are making your selection from. So selection from and where are always present in every SPL query. So select points the server to the column we want to extract data from. Now from points the server to the table we want to extract the data from. Now select star from actor where actor ID is less than 5. Where is a filter of sort. So where filters, like where actor ID, because you have different actors in the list of actors. You look at the table, that's the actor table, you see there are different actors there. So where actor ID is less than 5, we'll filter out any actor ID that is more than 5 and give you the result. Now you're not looking at just all the actors on the actor table. You are looking at actors whose actor ID is less than 5. So we have an assignment here, interactive discuss on the difference between SPL statement and SPL commands. Write a query to extract the last name and last updated date of the actor. So this interactive discussion should be done on our platform, please, so that we can all learn from one another. And then you can just write this query to extract the last name and share screenshots on the platform as well for us to look at and brainstorm or learn from. Thank you for staying with me to the end of this class. See you in the next class.